run had a couple of emergency call-ups. What was the situation that warranted them?
Allie's banged up. Lemieux is banged up. Yeah, Tony's suspended, so emergency recalls.
I guess how interested are you? You've obviously seen Danoye, but how interested are you to see what Tyson Forrester brings to the table?
Yeah, I don't remember him during camp. Camp was kind of a blur as far as names for me, trying to get to know everybody. Have received really good reports all year long from down in Lehigh. And throw him to the fire here against Carolina. Yeah, so it's exciting for him, I'm sure.
What do you tell a player when they're coming up just to kind of ease their nerves, especially making their NHL debut?
What we try to do, the whole process, we try to give them a little bit of foundation work with, just to sit down and talk with them about our foundation of play in the morning and then leave them alone. And I just expressed to them, I don't want them worrying about mistakes. I don't want them overthinking. I just want them to play. And I just told Ty that now. So Rock and Shawzy will get to him with a little bit of information, but then he just needs to go out and play.
Going back real quick to Wade and Brendan, do you have any idea if their injuries are long-term or?
I'm not sure. I would probably say it's day-to-day. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Aside from the two of them, are you planning on making any other, well, Tony's out, any other changes to the lineup?
No, what we have here is what we got, right? There's no one else here. We got 12 forwards, 16.
And then Carter?
No. I'm sorry. Sandy will be in net.
Okay.
Yeah.
We obviously spoke to you after the game about Tony. You said you had to see the clip over the last day. He was suspended for it. I guess after watching the clip, are your thoughts similar to what they were at the end of the game?
It's the suspension's the right call. Yeah. So now we just move on, and he sits the suspension and get him back in after.
Is it a conversation you have to have with him? I know you've talked about him with you love the competitiveness, you don't want him to go over the line, or you just trust that he realizes he went over the line, he won't do it again?
Well, I'm not sure if he won't do it again. I don't know, but I think Tony has worked at that part of his game, and in conversations I've had with Tony throughout the year, these are constant conversations. I trust that he's working at that part of the game, but I cannot. I don't want to turn him into a gentleman either. That's a big part of how he plays, and I do not want to take that away. But he went over the line, and I think the league makes the right call here in the suspension.
Do you feel like you need to have a conversation with him aside from the conversations that he had yesterday? How do you approach him?
No, I don't think so. I saw him on the plane yesterday, and no, Tony. There won't be a long conversation between Tony and I. We've had enough of them.
Going back to Travis Sanheim and Joel Farabee after the game, you expressed that you don't really know what you're going to do with them. Yeah. I guess with the benefit of a full day to stew on it, where are you at with both of those guys?
Yeah, I think we have to try to help them. And sometimes, I think a lot of people don't understand, sometimes just not playing them. Whatever you want to call it, a benching or whatever it is, sometimes that's part of the process of trying to help them. I think Beezer has found a little bit, he's been involved more in the offense. You can see that coming. The penalties are, I think Beezer's penalties, I think he's mad, and I like that. He just can't get caught. He can't put us down. I don't want to take away him being pissed that I just got hit in the head and take a bad penalty. It's a bad penalty. The first one's a bad penalty, offensive zone penalties. And I think Joel understands that, but I don't want to take away, just as I said with Tony's personality, I don't want to take that aggravation that he has, but he's got to do it in a better way. And but that's not why he sits. It was a struggle away from the puck with him in that game. I think we're all trying. He's trying to get it all together. It's part of the process. Sandy's a guy that I see so much in him, but I want him. For me, the biggest thing with him is I want him to have a more aggressive mindset, and that's not out there hollering and yelling and running people through the wall. And I want him to constantly think about his head of trying to make a difference. And And I think that'll transform into everything in his game will be better. And so no one, I'm not mad at them, but I'm not going to play him if I see some things aren't changing and some of the things we've talked about. That's when other things have to happen, when I don't see a change. So we'll go back at it tonight. They're back in it. Beezer's going to play with Tip and Frosty, and I hope he has a really good game. I hope Sandy takes control of a game for us.
Is there an element with Sanheim where, I mean, obviously Farabee's got a few more years left on his deal as well, but with Travis, he's got an 8-year deal kicking in, you know, where, you know, you kind of have to figure out how to get the most out of him because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't look at years of contract. If we don't figure it out, it's going to be, as long as I'm here, it's going to be a long seasons for him. I don't care about contracts. And however many years, I don't think I'm going to be here 8 years. But if I'm here for 3 or 4 of his years and we don't come to an agreement as far as how we're going to go about this, it's my call, kind of, as far as how we go about it, as far as ice time. And I don't think it's going to come to that with Sandy. But I'm trying to make a point to you. I don't look at how much money they make. I don't look at their contract years. I'm coaching the player to try to make him the best player possible and to play under a team concept to make us the best team possible. That's all I care about. None of this is a personal thing. We're not fighting, and it's just a coach and a player trying to come to an area that we're both happy where he's at. And that's my job. That is my job. And it's Sandy's job, too, to come and talk to me about that. And that's where we're at right now. We're having conversations about that. How long it takes is how long it takes. And I really don't worry about the years in their contract.
You spoke about Owen Tippett the other day and kind of how you manage your relationship with him, not wanting to micromanage and be in his ear too much. Tippett, yes.
Yeah.
But when as it relates to Farabee and Sanheim, how do you navigate that relationship and it's sort of in a different spot here?
Yeah, but it may be a different circumstance right now, but I still feel the same way about not overcoaching. I do not want to be in players' way. I think we overcoach. But there are certain times that I have to coach and that I have to be more vocal, that I have to have more conversations. And I was this way with Tip for quite a while, for probably a month and a half. And it's the same thing with Sandy and Joel. It's the way I coach, and I'm always going to be honest with them. And they have a perfect right to be honest with me, and I think that's what's happening right now. But if I think I need to be in their ear more or do things a little bit differently at certain times, I'm going to. But it's always for the goal to make them a better player, better person, and a better teammate, so our team is better. That's my job, and for no other reason.
You said that you wanted to give them a second chance in the third period of that game to see if they would respond well. Getting to look back and watch it back, what did you make of their response?
Yeah, I thought Sandy had a couple good shifts. It's a period. You know, I thought we played hard. I don't think we accomplished too much. I don't think many players accomplished too much in the third period until the end. Joel has a couple offensive plays. Joel is getting more and more involved in the offense. You can see it the past few games. So I don't want to get too strict, you know, because I've been begging for offense from him. So that's a fine line I walk here too. So so I hope they start right tonight and hope it just keeps on growing.
Kind of going back to play them in the third period, I'm curious, you know, you said you wanted to give them a shot to show they could respond. Would you have given them that shot had, you know, you didn't have Brendan Lemieux and Tanner Lazinski, you know, coming back from injury and whatnot?
That had nothing to do with it. I think I'm not going to tell you the circumstances, but I think a couple of circumstances this year, I made a mistake and kept guys out too long. And should have given another chance. As I get to know the person or persons, I should have given a couple guys other chances instead of sitting for the amount of minutes I did. So that's what I walk. That's my gut talking to me. And there are certain times when there's no chance that guy's going back on the ice. As far as some of the things that how he did it, maybe something happened in the locker room. Who knows, you know? And those are circumstances. There's not a chance. I made some mistakes this year, and maybe keeping some guys out and not giving them another opportunity to get back in within that game and not wait for the next game.
When does that dawn on you, like the fact that, like, just kind of the self-evaluation of making a mistake? And
I do it every night. You guys may pick up on what you think are mistakes of mine, you've missed some beauties this year that you haven't even talked about. I make a lot of mistakes, and you've missed some beauties. But I do it I have to self-evaluate, because usually the only time a coach really gets self-evaluated by someone else is the GM says, you're out of here. We're sick of you. You're gone. We have to self-evaluate as coaches, and we talk about it all the time. I bounce things off of my assistant coaches. Should I have done it this way? Did I do it the right way? Just had a meeting, a pretty good meeting about a number of different things. I asked my coaches, did we get the right points across? And that's always going on amongst us.
Thanks, sir.
Okay?
Thanks, Sean.
Okay.